Well, if you have ever had the chickenpox, and 98% of adults in the United States have, you're at risk for probably one of the most painful rashes you could ever develop. We're talking about shingles.
Hard to predict when, if at all, shingles will develop. So the best thing you can do is to educate yourself on the rash. So joining us today is Kevin Musto, who's the pharmacy manager and owner of Atlantic Apothecary in Smyrna. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been practicing it this whole time, still managed to stumble over. So explain to me real quick, why are we at risk of shingles if we've had chickenpox?
Well, it's a virus and it can remain dormant for an extended period of time. And in the event that your body's immune system becomes weakened, it can flare up and cause these symptoms that are called shingles.
Now, you're talking weakened immune system. What exactly do you mean?
Well, typically you can have a weakened immune system if somebody has extreme amount of fatigue or stress, if you are a person who has autoimmune issues, if you are a diabetic, if you have HIV or AIDS, if you are a transplant patient. There's patients that have weakened immune systems, and those people may be at risk if they are exposed to those situations.
So that's what will cause it.
That's what happens. It flares up and it causes those horrible symptoms.
Okay, so how am I going to know? Is there a way I can know if it's shingles, or is there something else? Are there symptoms that I can look for?
Well, uniquely about shingles is that it's just manifested by the extreme amount of pain. So when a patient would get rash, they may get a chickenpox rash, or they might get a shingles rash, but they differentiate between a poison ivy rash or something that you came in dermatitis with.
Okay.
So it actually burns.
Burns,
and that's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's a very painful situation, and they are very distinctive. So you may just feel the burning initially. The blister may take a few days to be present, but it's most important to get medical attention as quick as possible so you can get treatment as soon as possible.
And it shows up on certain parts of the body, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
the three distinct parts are the neck and shoulders, across the abdomen, and along the optic nerve around the eyes is one of the most painful.
Like right there. Where you see
those gray, and they could be on both sides of the body, but those are the basic classical symptoms that you would see where that would manifest.
Are there some people that are more susceptible than others?
Yeah, as well as we talked earlier, anyone with an immune system, but as we get older, our immune systems tend to get weaker. Yeah. So in those individuals specifically, as we get in the 70s and 80s, half the patients that are 80 years and over may develop these symptoms. Or if, like I said, if those other situations arise where your immune system is compromised, it can be seen in younger, but most of the time we see it in our older populations.
Now, there is a vaccine, right?
Yeah, and we are trying to promote that. There is a shingles vaccine called Zostavax, and it is something that can help prevent a person from having those symptoms occur. They feel very confident that it will help reduce, if you ever came across a situation where your body was compromised, from getting those particular symptoms.
Okay, so Kevin, why doesn't everybody just go ahead and get the vaccine?
Well, it's all about awareness. I think that uniquely, we are all hardwired to get flu shots every year and try to take preventative care such as Pneumovax shots. We're not as proactively seeking to get a Zostavax shot, and most of the times with Zostavax shots are typically sought after if someone in their family, a loved one, a family member or a friend comes down with shingles, then we typically see somebody be more proactive about that. But we just are trying to do more awareness of prevention, because that's really one of those preventable situations that none of us want to have.
Now, and we talk about it being contagious, but there's a kind of an interesting twist to that.
Correct. It can be contagious, but really your situation is that somebody had a blistering rash and it had opened, and you have open sores. Those sores could present a virus that could be transferred to somebody who hasn't had the chickenpox before, and they could basically break out with chickenpox. But if somebody's had chickenpox in the past, they can't come in contact with another virus and then have shingles. So it really is this interesting situation, because your body's chemistry is such that if you've had chickenpox before, you can come down with your own shingles, but you can't come down with somebody else's. So the key is that somebody has had an outbreak and they've had the open sores, to keep them covered. Hand washing is paramount in both those individuals that have the open sores and those individuals that want to prevent the open sores. And we would encourage anyone that's 50 and over to get the vaccination, because it's licensed for anyone who has a prescription that is 50 years in age and over.
If I've had it once, can I get it again?
Absolutely. So that's why we encourage, even if you've had shingles before, we want you to get the shingle shot. Helping. It's all about investing in your own personal health. This is one way you can do it.
Right.
Kevin, thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Awesome information. That
Thanks.
was great.
That is a lot of information. And if you'd like more information from Atlantic Apothecary on shingles, go to delmarvalife.com and click on the show tab.
Still to come, most of us have loved ones who've passed away. It's kind of hard to get through it. But up next, how a local church is helping the community heal through the hard times and how you can get on board.
Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.